I thought my love would remain a tragic one-sided gay daydream. Until one night, my hot icy emotionally constipated dorm mate drunkenly whispered my name in his sleep, smiling like a Disney prince who just met his soulmate. And then the next morning, he woke up, looked me dead in the eyes, smirked like the devil himself, pinned me to the bed, and said, "So, since you already know, wanna make out? Excuse me, let's start from the beginning. I'm just your average guy. So average, if I walked past you, you'd probably mistake me for a background tree." I was mentally prepared for the invisible boring dorm life. Peaceful, quiet, alone. But God, or whoever was on shift in heaven that day, must have gotten bored and said, "Let's give this invisible boy a heart attack every morning for the rest of his life." Because guess who got assigned as my dorm mate? Kazian freaking Frost. Campus legend. Rich. Silent. Ice prince. Literally has frozen white hair and walks like the world should pause for him. Suddenly, I became campus famous. Not for me. Oh no. For surviving him. Campus forum comments. Can't believe a nobody is rooming with Kazian Frost. I'd sell my left lung to switch dorms. That dude is living my fantasy. I'm sobbing. Ask him what it's like to wake up next to that face. Meanwhile, me, internally screaming every day. Because let me tell you something, waking up to Kazian Frost isn't just a luxury, it's a battle between survival and spontaneous combustion. Imagine this. I wake up, groggy and crusty-eyed, only to see him standing shirtless, by the window like some Greek statue brought to life, sipping black coffee, wearing loose sweatpants, reading a book like he didn't just cause my gay soul to leave my body. For him, a normal morning. For me, a spiritual experience, heart failure included. I swear if it were possible to file lawsuits against raw, illegal levels of hotness, the entire legal system would collapse. How, and I repeat, HOW, do you expect a helpless little gay like me to survive when my dorm mate is a 6'3" walking thirst trap with veiny hands, six-pack abs, broad shoulders and Adam's apple that moves like a personal attack, legs that go on for miles, fingers long enough to play piano or crush my will to live, and eyes that could freeze the entire continent but melt me? I deserve an Oscar, a Grammy, a Nobel Peace Prize for not crawling into his lap and confessing every 0.3 seconds. The amount of times I've drooled, tripped, stuttered, and dramatically passed out behind closed doors because of his face. Embarrassing. But I kept it together. He doesn't know what he does to me, right? Like, there's no way he knows. He's straight. Like, painfully, gorgeously, heartbreakingly straight. So I get it, he's not doing this on purpose. Otherwise, I swear, I would think he's trying to seduce me 24/7. And second reason, he hates me. I know he does. He's not just the ice prince of the campus, no, he's the CEO of emotional neglect, the silent judgmental Elsa with abs. He never talks unless absolutely necessary. Like, life or death, necessary. Rolls his eyes at me so often I'm convinced they're doing cardio. Scowls at me like I just set his dog on fire, even though he doesn't have a dog. And every time I enter a room, I swear I hear him take a dramatic deep breath like he's mentally preparing to deal with my existence. Bro won't even let me go to the bathhouse alone. Let people borrow my notes. Sit next to me in class. Forget it. What does he want from me? I still remember day one of moving into the dorm. There I was, a small twink with a suitcase bigger than my hopes and dreams, struggling like a sad anime protagonist. All thanks to my typical Asian mom who thought I'd need 3 rice cookers, 7 blankets, and enough socks to clothe a small army. I was dying. And then, he appeared. Kazian Frost, hair shining like he just walked out of an ice-themed shampoo ad. Eyes colder than my GPA, standing there like a snow angel forged in a Calvin Klein commercial. I blinked, I smiled, I prayed he'd help, you know, like normal humans do when their dorm mates getting body slammed by a suitcase. Nope, he gave me a full judgmental scan, raised one perfectly arched brow, and walked past me. Like I was an obstacle. I stood there, sweating and emotionally wounded. Okay, rude, hope I never see him again. Cut to. I open the door. He's inside, unpacking, in my dorm, because life is a sitcom and the universe is the audience laughing at me. I was half ready to cry and half ready to thank my past life self for scoring me a roommate that looks like a Disney villain in the best way. There were bunk beds, which is already a threat to my very gay, very fragile sleep cycle. I sleep like a feral raccoon in a tumble dryer. So I started unpacking, side-eyeing the Ice Lord lounging on the top bunk with the grace of a model doing a toothpaste commercial. Meanwhile, I called my mom. Because obviously, I had to report my near-death suitcase experience. Hey, mama, yeah, I got here. The room's nice but bunk beds. I fake sniffled. Drama mode activated. Mom laughed. Of course, I knew. That's why I kept telling you to fix your sleeping habits. And then, I realized the call was on speaker. My sister Millie screamed from the background. You sleep like a possessed pig. You're gonna fall, break your ass and trend on TikTok. Shut up. Mom, marry her off. She's a grocery drain. Mom, laughing. Me, dying inside. The background was chaos. Mom started giving her usual, don't get in fights, lecture. Who's your dorm mate? Be nice to him, okay. Me, watching Kazian ignoring me with headphones on and eyes glued to his phone. Why would I fight anyone, Mom? I'm peace. I'm love. I'm rainbow unicorn energy. Then my sister yelled again. Is he hot? Me. Dramatic gasp. Call terminated. Phone shoved inside sock. Sock shoved inside cupboard. Emergency over. I finally gathered courage, looked up at the Ice Lord, and knocked on the edge of the bed. He slowly, I mean painfully slowly, pulled down one side of his headphones and looked down at me. One glance. That was it. My first gay heartbreak. The moment I knew this would be my villain origin story. Still, I pushed through the emotional damage and said with a fake friendly smile that hid a full internal meltdown, "Hi. I am Willie Woods. Since we're dorm mates, thought we should at least introduce ourselves." He looked me dead in the eyes, said, "Kazian Frost," and went back to scrolling. That was it. No smile, no handshake, not even a, "cool." Just returned to his phone like he didn't just send me spiraling into a romantic crisis. I turned back around, clutched my chest, and mentally screamed. Why is he so cold yet so stupidly hot? Like Frost, like his name, Kazian freaking Frost. I hate him, I love him, I'm so screwed. I was alone, I felt lonely. My dorm mate was hot, but cold as ice. I had no choice but to explore the campus by myself, and thankfully, I bumped into someone, Mark Reeds. He was super friendly, and guess what? His room was right next to mine. He instantly offered to show me around, and just like that, I knew I'd made a great friend. He patted my back dramatically after hearing who my dorm mate was. He's a hottie, but a total coldie. Still, being his dorm mate, that'll definitely get you famous, he winked. I nodded, half laughing. And true to his words, the whole campus seemed to lose its mind trying to figure out who Kazian Frost's dorm mate was. Me. I was the dorm mate. That night, when I came back, the room was empty. No sign of Kazian. I shrugged, took a shower, and climbed up into the top bunk. It was alright, just tall. The railing helped, but I still didn't trust myself. My sleep habits were a disaster. And then it hit me. Where was my phone? I flipped my pillow, checked under the table, in the bathroom, under my clothes, even inside my bag. Nothing. My brain refused to remember where I'd left it. My one and only phone. How am I supposed to talk to my mommy now? I whimpered, plopping down on the floor like a drenched, helpless puppy. Just then, the door opened. Enter Kazian Frost, dressed in all black, hoodie, jeans, looking like a living fashion magazine cover. He gave me a quick glance, emotionless as always. I couldn't take it anymore. I completely broke down in front of him. Awah, I lost my phone. Dorm mate, please help me. My mom's gonna think I'm dead. And my sister, she's probably already throwing a party thinking I'm gone. I sniffled, eyes watery. He gave me a look, like I was the strangest creature he'd ever seen. Then, calmly, he spoke. Check your cupboard. He pulled out some clothes and a towel. Especially the sock. That's all he said before heading into the bathroom to take a shower. I blinked, then jumped to my feet and ran to the cupboard. I opened it, dug into the sock, and there it was. My phone. Yay, I screamed, hugging it like it was my long-lost soulmate. There were already 10 missed calls from my mom. I quickly called her back and explained everything. She scolded me like I'd committed a national crime. Meanwhile, my sister cackled in the background, saying she'd already started planning my funeral. I cut the call with my soul half dead from humiliation and waited for Kazian to come out. As soon as he walked out of the bathroom, hair damp and towel around his neck, I beamed at him. Thank you so much. You saved my life, calmed my mom down, and absolutely ruined my sister's celebration. I owe you big time. You're the best. I grinned with all my heart, eyes squinting shut from smiling too hard. He froze mid-hair dry, blinked, then looked away with the softest, was that a hum? And just like that, he climbed up into his bed without saying anything else. I, on the other hand, got into mine, hugged my phone, and scrolled like a detective on a mission. I dove into forums, stalking every post about Kazi and Frost. Thankfully, 99% of the posts were about him, and I saved every photo, video, and blurry screenshot I could find. That little sock phone incident basically stitched my feelings for him into a full-blown crush quilt. And the big moment was yet to come. I fell asleep with my phone still on my chest. As I turned in my sleep, it slipped from my hands and crashed to the floor with a loud thud. Kazian's eyes snapped open. He sat up, staring at the phone on the floor, then at me sleeping like the dead. His gaze traveled up to my very cursed sleeping position, my head and leg dangling off the bed railing. I turned again in my sleep, hunting for comfort, and yep, gravity did its thing. Thump, I landed on something warm. The hell am I doing on the ground? Is this a dream? I mumbled, rubbing my eyes in a daze. Get off me. The deep growl beneath me pulled me back to reality. I looked down, and there I was, sitting on Kazien Frost's lap. Ah, I jumped up like the floor was lava. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, oh my god, forgive me. I started bowing like I was apologizing to the Emperor of Earth. He let out another low growl before standing up and glancing at my bed with a sigh. Tie a cloth or curtain to the side, he muttered, then climbed back into his bunk like nothing had happened. Meanwhile, I stood there, drowning, breathless, choking in the deep ocean. Called love. That's the moment I knew. I was in love. And that's also the moment I knew he hated me. How do I know? Because I swear I saw his ears go red. He was so mad at me he blushed. That's it, he hates me. I need to keep my distance. For real this time, I pouted, stabbing at my food with my fork as I sat in the noisy, crowded cafeteria. My attention kept flicking toward Kazian, who, as always, sat alone at his own bench, far away, surrounded by space like some royal exile. He ignored everyone's glances like he was allergic to attention. That's when a girl approached him. I froze. Wait, was she seriously thinking of confessing? In public? Wow. Brave soul. Before I could process it further, Mark dropped down beside me, throwing his arm casually over my shoulders. What do we have here? He grinned, snatching a fry from my tray and popping it into his mouth. What's with the pout? Bad mood? He asked, chewing. I opened my mouth to answer, but then the cafeteria collectively stopped breathing. No. The loud, sharp word echoed through the air. Everyone turned to look. Kazian. He'd straight up shouted at the girl. No sugarcoating, no gentle rejection, just a cold, brutal no. Even from across the room, I got goosebumps. Damn, why's he gotta be so rude? Mark muttered beside me. I nodded nervously, watching as the poor girl ran off crying. Oof. I glanced back at Kazian, only to flinch when I found him already looking at me. No, watching me. A chill ran up my spine. His eyes didn't move. They were locked on my side of the table like lasers. I furrowed my brows, confused, until I realized his glare wasn't exactly aimed at me. He was staring at Mark's arm, still around my shoulders, in the near zero space between us. Was he? No, 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 no. I'm daydreaming too hard. There's no way he's glaring at us because of that. Right. I shook my head, trying to shake the crazy idea out, just as Mark leaned closer and poked my cheek with a grin. Man, your cheeks are soft. And you smell like baby powder. You wear baby powder. What the hell? Get away. I laughed, pushing him off playfully. He just laughed harder and pulled me closer again. I didn't think much of it. Normal bro stuff, right? But then, crash. The entire cafeteria went dead silent again. A food tray, fallen, on our table, food everywhere, a disaster zone of spilled juice, broken plate, and flying fries. Mark and I blinked. We slowly looked up, and there he stood, Kazian Frost, cool, calm, collected, like a model fresh off a runway. My hand slipped, he said flatly, not looking the least bit sorry. His cold eyes didn't leave ours, no, didn't leave Mark, as he turned and walked away like nothing had happened. Silence reigned. "What's with him?" Mark muttered, wiping ketchup off his shirt. He looked like someone was stealing his damn property. I just blinked. No thoughts. Head empty. Heart pounding. Face burning. I sighed, trying to stop thinking about the cafeteria incident, walking toward the library to grab a few books. I always wondered why they placed them that high. It's like they forgot short people exist. I tiptoed, stretching to reach one, almost got it, only for it to fall. I shut my eyes, mentally preparing to get hit and die dramatically, but the hit never came. Blinking in confusion, I looked up. A hand, a perfect-looking, long-fingered, slightly veiny hand held the book midair. I turned sharply, and there he was. Kazian. "Oh, it's you," I muttered, suddenly feeling calm, and hot. Like, face on fire hot. He handed me the book without a word. "Who else were you expecting?" he asked, his voice low and steady. I looked at him, confused by the question. "No one. Actually, it's always you who saves me right before I ruin my ass," I smiled, hugging the book to my chest. He stared for a long second before letting out a low hum and walking off. My heart was doing weird things. Back in the dorms, I found Kazian getting ready to head to the bathhouse. Whenever there was a water issue, we were allowed to use the public bathhouse nearby. He looked at me. "You coming?" I blinked. "Did he just ask me?" "I'll come later," I replied casually, only to see his brows furrow deeply. "Why go later? Come now," he said, like it wasn't a request, but an order. Honestly, he never let me go to the bathhouse alone, and I still didn't know why, but I just nodded, grabbed my clothes and towel, and followed him. When we reached, the first thing I saw was Mark, already there, fresh out of the water and only wrapped in a towel. He grinned when he saw me. "Hey, perfect timing, let's get in together," he said, walking up like he was about to throw an arm around my shoulder. Before he could even touch me, a hand clamped around my arm. Hard. "Don't waste time," Kazian said coldly, not even sparing Mark a glance. He pulled me away without another word. I blinked, confused, but followed, tossing a quick glance over my shoulder at Mark, who looked very confused. Inside, it was quiet. Too quiet. The presence of Kazian was enough to clear the whole place out. Everyone knew he didn't like people around. The bathhouse was divided into sections, shower zones and small pool-like baths. Still, the fact that he brought me with him was new. "Should I leave too?" I asked, unsure. "Why?" His voice had dropped lower, sending a nervous chill through me. I didn't reply. I just shut up and stayed where I was, watching him as he slipped off his clothes like he was in a damn cologne ad. Calm, confident, every movement slow and smooth. I turned away so fast I almost tripped over myself. My face burned as I rushed to the showers. There was no way I could handle being naked around him. Not when he looked like that. It wasn't the first time he kept me close at the bathhouse. But today, he didn't just keep people away, he brought me with him. And that was very surprising. After taking a quick shower, I dressed up in a rush and stepped out, only to find Kazian already waiting. He was leaning against the wall, dressed in a loose t-shirt and shorts. His damp white hair fell messily over his forehead, drops still sliding down his neck. Damn, he looked fine. "Done?" he asked casually. I nodded and walked toward him, only to slip on the wet tile. Again, I yelped, fully prepared to hit the floor, but his arm was around my waist in a flash, steadying me. "Ah, I'm so sorry. God, I seriously need to stop being this clumsy. I'm always falling. I'm catching, ain't I?" He cut in, voice low. He set me upright like it was nothing, patted my head once, and started walking ahead without looking back. I stood there, stunned. What the hell just happened? Gentle. Did he just say he's always catching me? My face turned red on its own. Like full-on boiling tomato red. God, I wanted to vanish, in a good way. By now, I was used to the top bunk. I didn't roll off and fall anymore. I lay there staring at the ceiling, thinking. What if Kazian was thinking about me too right now? Maybe sneaking glances like I always did. I chuckled quietly to myself. Yeah, right, like that's ever going to happen. Still, the thought made me smile. And eventually, I fell asleep. The next morning, I woke up late and sprinted to class in panic mode. Kazian was already there, of course, sitting at his usual seat, back straight like royalty. As I rushed in, I swear I saw him take a deep breath, jaw clenched. Was he annoyed I came late? My chest felt weird, heavy. I didn't dare sit next to him like usual, so I slid into the seat in front of him. Alone. That's when I heard it. A low scowl, a sharp exhale. Was he mad I sat here? I almost moved back to my usual seat beside him, but the teacher walked in. Too late now. The class dragged on painfully boring. But the whole time, I couldn't shake the weird chill running down my spine, like someone was burning holes into my back. It couldn't be Kazian. He doesn't even look at me. Right. After class, a few classmates approached both me and Kazian, asking if we were going to the campus party that night. Kazian didn't even hesitate. No, I didn't think much of it, so I nodded, agreeing, sure, I'll tag along. And then suddenly, Kazian changed his answer. He gave a small nod and said, I'll go. All the girls squealed like it was some K-drama reveal. I sat there, stunned. Wait, what just happened? Before my traitorous hope could rise, I mentally slapped it away. Don't even think about it, Willie. It's nothing. Then Mark ran toward me, yelling like a man on fire. Willie, help, I forgot the homework. Of course you did. I laughed, handing him my notes. Right then, Kazian made a sound, kind of like an annoyed sigh, as he stood up. Without even looking at me, he said, where's your phone? Your mom's been calling since morning. Go and answer her. Then he left. Oh crap, I had missed her calls. My phone had shut down mid-game this morning and I forgot to bring it while rushing out. Giving my notes to Mark, I ran back to the dorm. When I got there, Kazian was lying on his desk lazily while I sat down and called my mom, only to receive a full 1-hour lecture about responsibility, charging phones, and apparently how to adult. Finally cutting the call, I let out a sigh and glanced at Kazian. Did I just imagine the corners of his lips twitching upward? A smile? No, I'm definitely imagining things. The night of the party came. The campus was lit up, music thumping loud over the dance floor. Everyone seemed to be having the time of their lives. I wasn't doing too bad either, until I noticed Kazian. He sat alone at the counter like some untouchable model, sipping from his drink. His expression unreadable, cold, distant, but his eyes met mine, and I swear, my breath stopped. Mark pulled me onto the dance floor with a, let's go. I wasn't good at dancing, obviously, which meant, I tripped, right into a glass table. The table flipped, and the glass shattered on the floor in front of everyone. Yep, my soul just left my body. Why am I alive? Kill me, I mumbled, face palming as the music dimmed and everyone turned to look. Waiters were already rushing over. People stared. My pride shattered worse than the table. I felt hot all over. I couldn't even pay for the damage. But then, a presence appeared beside me. I peeked through my fingers. Kazian. He was right next to me, handing over his card to the staff wordlessly. Not just that, he glared around the room like if anyone dared say anything bad about me, he'd break more than a table. My heart pounded like mad. He didn't scold me, didn't even speak. He just walked back to his seat and resumed drinking like nothing happened. But I couldn't stop watching him. And every time our eyes met, he took another sip. Every time someone, girl or guy, talked to me or touched me in passing, he drank again, faster, harder. Was I imagining it, or was Kazian? And as I expected, he was drunk. Very drunk, which surprised everyone, honestly. Since I was his roommate, I had no choice but to go to him. Some girls tried to take their chance with him, giggling, flirting, but he just gave them that one annoyed glare, the kind that sent them walking away fast. But when I got near, he dropped his glass onto the counter. His hazy, flushed eyes locked onto mine. Not a single trace of his usual coldness. Just softness, drunken affection. Kazian, I started, but I couldn't even finish. He suddenly pulled me close, his arms snaking around my waist as he sat, hugging me tight. My eyes widened, and the music blurred into silence in my ears. I swear I heard him whisper, so good it feels so good to hug you, Willie, even your name feels so good to say, so cute, is this a dream? Let me hold you a little longer then. He snuggled his face into my stomach. I froze, my ears burned, my brain completely shut down. People stared, I could feel it, Shocked silence, murmurs. I was embarrassed. Dying. But my heart was going crazy. I tried to move him, but he only hugged tighter. With a red face and shaky hands, I somehow managed to pull him outside. He wasn't easy to drag, he kept leaning on me, mumbling things I couldn't even process. Drunk Kazian was so different from the usual sharp-edged version of him. Then, just as I reached the hallway wall, he suddenly pinned me against it. He stared into my eyes, dazed. So cute, he murmured, cupping my face. His breath hit my lips. My heart stopped. He leaned in closer, almost kissing me, but he paused, then turned away. I don't want to do it even if this is a dream, he whispered. I'll only kiss you when you want me to as much as I want you. He smiled softly, resting his head in my neck. I shivered all over. My heart was barely functioning at that point. Dragging him back to the dorm felt like the longest walk of my life. I took off his shoes and covered him with the blanket, only for him to suddenly pull me in again. He hugged me tight against his chest, nuzzling my hair, and then, "You smell so good." He whispered it right next to my ear. I short-circuited. I scrambled back, clutching my chest, breath gone, brain fried. Was I dreaming? What the hell was happening? Why is he thinking of me like this? No, I'm being delusional. This is not happening. This is not real. I'm not. I ran to the bathroom and splashed cold water on my face, trying to breathe. When I finally climbed up to my bunk, I lay there staring at the ceiling. Sleep. How was I supposed to sleep after that? Just when I thought it was over. But it wasn't. Kazian mumbled again. His voice was low, drunk, and soft, but clear enough to make me rethink my whole life. Willie, my Willie, adorable name, adorable face, adorably mine. Willie, he muttered softly, smiling in his sleep, saying my name in a way that sounded like he was longing for me, loving the way it rolled off his tongue. My brain short-circuited again. Was I dreaming? Then he muttered again, eyes still closed. Oh, Willie, gosh, he has no idea how much I crave to wrap him in my arms, stroke his hair, and whisper just how deep my love runs. If only he knew, would he let me hold him? He smiled in his sleep, then froze for a moment before continuing. I want to hold him so badly, but I can't even function in front of him, and that bastard Mark, he just comes and hugs my Willie like he owns him. Who allowed that? So annoying. If only I could do it, but Willie's mine. Only mine. Only I'm allowed to hug him, touch him, say his name as much as I like. Gosh, when will this suffering end? When can I finally confess? I'm so fed up with always dreaming about you and saying your name when you have no clue. Cute how you forget the world when you're asleep. Gosh, good for me, I could say your name all night 'cause it's just so cute, but I can't do it in the daytime. Never. I'm so shy, hee. He giggled softly, his voice fading deeper into sleep. And me, please don't ask how I am. I couldn't sleep the entire night. This is my first night at my dorm where I didn't sleep at all. Because all night long, out of nowhere, Kazian kept mumbling my name in his sleep, leaving me utterly astonished. Wow, is this how he is every other night while I sleep like dead, unaware? The next day, Kazian woke up like he was finally realizing something. He stood up, rubbed his face, and ruffled his hair, deep in thought before turning to face me. I was sitting on my bed, hugging my knees, eyes red and dark-circled, leaning against the wall. Willie, Kazian hiccuped. It was the first time he said my name directly, face to face. I always wondered why he never called me by name. Turns out he calls me in his sleep every night and loves the sound of it. He immediately stood up again, running his hand through his hair. What happened? Didn't you sleep? Did I do something wrong last night? He asked, and hearing that from him shattered me. What do you think? I answered, looking up at him. He stared at me, rethinking everything. Oh, that wasn't a dream, he whispered. So, you know, he asked. I blinked. So you're not even going to deny it? I said. Suddenly all his nervousness left, and a confident smile spread across his face, a smile that cracked my heart in the best way. Why would I? I never could bring myself to say it, but since last night, I finally did. So it's good you finally know how I feel. He climbed onto my bed faster than I could catch my breath, taking my hand and pinning me down, hovering above me. His hands trembled slightly as he held my face, as if I was fragile and he couldn't believe he was really holding me. Since you already know, can we make out? He asked. I was speechless. Can I, please? He almost begged. No, I didn't sleep all night, I said. So what? One sleepless night won't hurt you. It's your punishment for sleeping so soundly while I had countless sleepless nights for you, he said, making me blink. Since when did he like me this much? He seemed to read my thoughts because he continued. I love you. From the moment I saw you. It's my first time falling in love. I was so scared I didn't even know how to speak when we first met, so I ended up avoiding you. He bit his lip, totally Tsunere style. I couldn't help but smile. Right, you avoid me and glare at me a lot. That hurt. You need punishment. He nodded. Yes, right, punish me by letting me stay beside you forever. You call that punishment? I laughed, not believing the same icy prince was sitting in front of me. Totally, it's a punishment. Let me take care of you forever, he said, holding me close, eyes begging like a puppy. Fine, I punish you to stay with me forever, I chuckled. He smiled instantly and kissed all over my face, hugging me tight. I still felt like everything that happened was a dream. The moment I looked into the mirror, I caught sight of my blushing cheeks and groaned, splashing cold water onto my face in an attempt to calm down. After freshening up and changing into some warmer, comfortable clothes, I stepped out. Kazian was sitting at his desk, scrolling through his phone, but the second he noticed me, he locked the screen and set it aside. His lips curled into a gentle smile. Come here. My feet hesitated, shyness bubbling in my chest. But eventually, I gave in and walked toward him. His hands, trembling slightly, slid around my waist as he pulled me closer, his eyes sparkling with something intense, something soft. Stop staring like that, I muttered, looking away, cheeks burning. He didn't respond. Instead, he pulled me right onto his lap, making my eyes go wide and my breath hitch. I was stunned, frozen, until he cupped my cheek and kissed me, deep, passionate, and desperate. My heart pounded like a drum, overwhelmed, but eventually, I kissed him back. It was filled with longing as if he'd been holding this in for years. I think we should stop. We have class, I mumbled, breaking the kiss reluctantly. He sighed, resting his forehead on mine. You're right, but you're not escaping tonight. On our way to class, he suddenly turned bossy. New rules, he said, holding up fingers like he was a commander. No looking at people for more than 5 seconds. No unnecessary talking. No sharing notes. And especially, he narrowed his eyes, keep a distance from Mark. Ah, there it was. So he really was jealous all along. So I did as he wanted. Kept the Mark distance, all day. Hey, what's up with you? Mark teased. You're acting all distant. Don't tell me you got a girlfriend or something. My blush betrayed me. Mark squealed. No way. I was right. I sighed heavily. Behind him, I could feel Kazian's intense gaze burning holes into my back. That night, Kazian looked at me with puppy eyes and asked me to sleep beside him. I promise, I won't do anything. Just sleep. I teased him a little, pretending to hesitate, but remembering how he used to mutter in his sleep about wanting me in his arms, it made my heart flutter. So I agreed. The moment I climbed into his bed, he instantly pulled me into his arms, our legs tangling as he snuggled his face into the crook of my neck. His warmth seeped into me, a comfort I never knew I needed. Kazian, I whispered. He didn't reply, just held me tighter, and then kissed me, again. Deep, sensual, heartfelt. I kissed back, until my phone rang. Groaning, I pulled away to answer. It was my mom. Typical timing. Kazian gave me the most adorable pout while I talked. His face pressed into my neck as he hugged me like a clingy cat. When I finally ended the call, he looked at me, eyes questioning. Does your mother know? Yeah, I smiled. She knows I like guys. She knows I like you. She just doesn't know you. Like me back. I can't wait to see my sister's defeated face when I tell her. Kazian chuckled, brushing my hair. Who named you, Willie? My mom, of course. I rolled my eyes. Both me and my sister got silly names. Willie and Millie. I think it's a curse. He grinned. No, it's cute. I like it. You like everything about me, huh? I do. I smiled softly. Then why don't you tell me something about you? I barely know anything about your family, or how you were as a kid. He paused. My mother passed away. My father's rich, distant. Not much of a story. As for childhood, I've always been like this. Yeah, I can believe that, I chuckled. But tell me a memory. Anything special. Anyone you remember. He thought for a moment. There was this one kid. In kindergarten. He was the only one who approached me. Always shared his chocolate with me. I remember he once tried to show off on the slide but rolled down and landed face first. He cried so loudly it alarmed all the teachers. I blinked. That sounds oddly familiar. I also fell off the slide in kindergarten. Didn't attend school for a week after that. Kazian's eyes widened. Yeah, that kid didn't come to school for a week either. That's when I realized how much I missed him. Suddenly, I remembered, the black-haired boy with a wolfish face and intense eyes. The boy I used to chase around the playground. Could it be? I stared at him. Wait, you're the cold ice cube. His lips parted. You were the crybaby. Oh my god, we met as kids. I blinked. You really haven't changed that much. Except your Elsa hair. He laughed, eyes soft with affection. And you're still the same loud, cute, and a walking disaster. Hey, I crossed my arms. You called me what? He smiled at me, but this time, it felt deeper. As if something in his heart just unlocked. Before I could react, he kissed me again, slow, lingering, full of memories and promise. I love you, he whispered against my lips. And I'll love you forever. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. Then he hovered over me, peppering kisses all over my face, while I giggled beneath him. So yeah, that's my love story, something I never thought I'd believe in. I was sure my love wouldn't be returned, but it turned out to be the best, most beautiful, and unique thing in its own way.